Thanks for joining us in our podcast here at Christ Church as we're looking at facing fear with faith. Facing fear with faith. Our one-year Bible reading here during this uncertain season that we're all in with the coronavirus and all of the anxiety that it brings because of economic uncertainty, as well as people being concerned about their health and the health of the loved ones. I thought it was really interesting, our text today. It is from Luke chapter 9, but it begins at verse 51. And it says, and I'm just going to read a few verses because it's packed full of incredible life application. Verse 51, as the time drew near for him to ascend to heaven, Jesus resolutely set out for Jerusalem. He sent messengers ahead to the Samaritan village to prepare for his arrival. Paradoxical, isn't it? But so very, very applicable to where we are right now in the season that we're all in. Jesus was getting ready to face a very difficult time, a time of challenge, a time of, his own demise. He was getting ready to take the cross. But I love this wording here. It says that as the time drew near, he set his face resolutely towards Jerusalem. Resolutely. The word resolutely to me is so important because at a time of uncertainty, what's really important for us are two words I'm going to share with you today, how we can face fear with faith. And the first word is clarity. Clarity. Jesus had clarity. He had clarity about his mission. He had clarity about his purpose. And one of the things that we're learning from great leaders and consultants who are talking to us at Christ Church, and we're getting wonderful input from, is you really have to over-communicate in an environment like this. Clarity is always important in regular times, good times. One of the great stresses of any relationship, any marriage, is lack of communication. Lack of communication carries more burden, more challenges in any marriage or any family relationship. We have a saying at Christ Church, one of the greatest frustrations in life is unmet expectations. Unmet expectations often come from lack of clarity. She's not communicating her needs or what she expects. He's not communicating his needs and what he expects. And so there's tension and frustration that happen in that relationship. Same thing with a job situation, workplace. Employees need to know what you expect from them. And likewise, it's important for you as an employer or as a manager to be able to share clearly what you need from them and what you want from them so they can meet those expectations. And of course, it's always important to give some affirmation along the way. Clarity is very, very important. Jesus had clarity about his mission and about his purpose. It gives energy, to the relationship. It gives energy to the organization when you have clarity. Here's the direction. Here's where we're going. Now, that doesn't mean you can't close the doors like a husband and wife or a single mom, single dad reaching out trying to find the best advice on how to raise your child, and you get that advice from someone else. Doesn't mean the corporate boardroom you don't close the doors and say, we don't know what to do at a time like this. What's the best move forward? You can have those kind of conversations. But when you leave that boardroom and you go out to your employees, or you're communicating with them online now through Zoom or through other mediums of communication, they need clarity. Here's something I've always believed, and I've always taught this, and I've never known the exception. Take a blank sheet of paper and bring it into a room, and you'll suck the energy out of the room. Say to your spouse, well, here's a plan for our future. Here's our plan for our marriage. Here's what I'd like for us to do as a family. And you bring a blank sheet of paper into that relationship. You'll bring chaos. You'll bring frustration. But if you have things written down, like I've got a few notes here about what I want to share with you. I want to know where I'm going. I want to know my beginning and my ending so that we can get where we need to get together. When you have a blank sheet of paper, you bring chaos and unneeded confusion. Clarity is so important at a time like this. Decide where you're going. Decide what the next best move is. You don't have to have everything figured out, but people need clarity. The next word I want to share with you is the word purpose. Jesus knew his purpose. He knew where he was going, and he knew that in order to get there, it was going to be difficult. You see, right now, a lot of people have anxiety and frustration. In fact, it is times of uncertainty that reveal a lot about us. Let me say that another way. In times of uncertainty, what already exists in you, if you're type A personality and you like to control things, that's only heightened during times of uncertainty and times of crisis. If you have a need for security, and a lot of women have a need for security, it's a gene somewhere. It's got to be. But all Christian psychologists I've ever studied have said that one of the top needs of a woman is security, financial security and other needs. If you have that need for security during times of crisis and during times of uncertainty, that's going to rise up. It'll be at its peak. It'll be heightened during times of crisis and uncertainty. So whatever our struggles or anxieties are in a normal world, whenever we're facing uncertainty and crisis, it's heightened. And that's why in your home right now, in your relationships, in your marriage, and maybe even workplace relationships, it's very challenging, and temperaments and other things can be heightened, and our sense of insecurities can come out. We got to be careful. We're tempted to be short-tempered. We can be sharp with each other and even dehumanizing in our comments or our responses. So let's relax and take a deep breath and give each other an allowance and realizing where a lot of this is coming from. It's coming from our anxieties and our own need for control or our securities to be met. We need security, and all of those things come out of us during times of crisis. Jesus' purpose, I think, gave clarity to the disciples, and it allowed them to be able to realize what their mission was in following Jesus. Jesus set his face towards Jerusalem. We are called to a mission of sharing the hope and the light of Christ, and he has promised to be with us no matter what our circumstances happen to be. So I hope in this season you'll seek clarity in your prayer time and clarity in Scripture, because we belong to the one who came in order to give us life. And let us know here at Christ Church how we can pray for you and how we can ask God to perhaps bring clarity into your finances, your business situation, or your own relationships and family. We love you. Let us know how we can pray for you.